All right, here we go again. No, she's not. They're not torturing me to shut up. They're torturing me so I'll speak out. They'll tell you, well, the only speak out we want is him to admit to the crime he committed. Right. But it's bullshit. They're just making merchandise of me in the marketplace of demonism. But we go to church. That's just their excuse. Good church people. Probably still is. Today's the big day where I trade up my hearing aid. Guy I worked there said, he don't blame me. Obviously, we didn't have much information. Prior notice, they found out like the day before, which was probably the day after I got mine. Right. He's like, "How'd you find out?" I said, it's something, something. I just got this thought to Google, or to go, Google the hearing aid that I have for some reason I can't remember. And I went to the cost. It took me to the Costco page, and then I immediately saw that it was a different model. That was an upgrade, or the next model year. There's actually two chips in this one instead of one, which makes me wonder if I should have ordered the other one with two chips. Right. So again, the other thing you have to be prepared is that God forgives everybody. That's another thing that I want to speak on. Right. Again, uh, what if they don't work in the field and the Lord gives them the same pay? Would that make you angry? Again, the workers in the vineyard or laborers in the vineyard. Correct, Larry. Because there are those people. Thanks, Larry. Nah, they were. Well, yeah, the people that attacked me could be forgiven, but again, like I said, I don't have that information. I have similar information to the LDS. Right. And that came before I knew anything about that from their perspective. Thank you, Larry. But you have to understand that people that are doing this kind of stuff, they're living great lives. They ensure that they have, the utmost leisure that they could possibly give them. Right. So they don't even think, one crosswise thought about doing it. Correct. Even to the point that you are the religious genius of our age. Right. So that voice that says right, that's not me. That's a spirit. And I don't always say it. I just say it on here kind of, or when I'm thinking out loud and open to spiritual input. Right. It's an inside thing. It would like if you're doing something, it'll say right, right, right. Keep sending you that you're in the right direction, kind of. Right. Seems like it's definitely the heat that triggers whatever makes me sick. Hmm. Thanks, sorry. But again, I'm not perfect without it. It looks like they're trying to get me to go overseas, right? Trying to meet an overseas woman, but that's passed. Something I was going to try to do like about 18 years ago or so, and they just got in the middle. Oh God, I'm sorry. Well, these are the things that when you kind of run that race and run the course, and you get to a certain point, the Lord might ask you, what if I forgive everybody? What if everything I told you is untrue? But it's God, right? So at that point, it's, well, you're God. I'm sure you did it for a reason. Thank you. There. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Alma existed in this particular uh, dimension of this planet or not. Well, Jesus Christ could have went to the spiritual dimension, which I know he's in. I already have information that Jesus Christ is in the spiritual dimension of this planet, which sometimes we call that the ghost world, that kind of thing. Sometimes it crosses and you can see a ghost or a sense of spirit. So Alma could have lived in that part of the world. Right? Again, that's LDS information. Oh. So the archaeology doesn't really even matter. There's various dimensions. Earth, again, whether this is Earth or not, it's up for debate because this is probably a distorted Earth, right? Not the Earth that was created originally. Right. So all of that LDS again, because remember, uh, Joseph Smith is in a vision. He's participated in a vision, actions in a vision. So where is that vision? What is he connected to? Right. Most likely the spiritual side of the world. I know for a fact Jesus is in spiritual earth. So some people, again, it's kind of a takeoff of purgatory, but not necessarily purgatory. You could get left behind here in the spiritual world because the Lord has something for you to do. Right. So you go into the spiritual world of this planet. There's a whole. It may be populated more than this planet is. Right. I don't know if it is or not. It's just. So Jesus comes and does whatever he does to try to save the people. So Alma could be part of that world, and all the rest. Moroni, Alma. So that wouldn't require any any uh, any archaeology to match. Oh my God. Links theory. Thank you. But Joseph Smith and all of that may have occurred in a different part of the world. Or a different part of existence. So again, something said, well, you have, is that why they killed you? Because you had all the information for the LDS. I don't know. I had information for everybody, not only LDS. Well, again, you're responsible for the system. If you're part of the system that kills people's lives, then you're responsible for your ignorance, not having the information that you need to survive. Again, they're trying to reverse that. That's limited to this planet. In other words, it'll be considered their information and that they said it. Now I'm actually the person that it speaks about. Again, it's devilry. That's where you get ignorant people in big places because you're giving them way to steal the credit of other people. Yeah, it's just kind of, it's like what went on. It's like an Amazon thing where you have to be past a certain time before they'll do anything, and it's just obviously I can't get it. But I guess somebody could bring it to my door, and then if they do after we make some other arrangements, I'm sure that they planned it. Right, it's part of the overall thing. Hmm. Well, theoretically, somebody has been called to the box to get the package. Correct. And they said they left it at my door. They didn't leave it at my door. It's obviously the photo shows a bin. Right. In most cases, it would have been dropped here. It has my address on it. I'm actually going to walk over right now and try to plug it in one more time. They're using like an electric trimmer. I'm not electric, I'm in a gas trimmer. How nice. The whole world's using electric trimmers for trees, and they're using a gas one. Louder than most chainsaws. Thank you, friend. So, isn't that pleasant? Makes no sense to make all that noise. I mean, the money they make, I'm sure there's a. Yeah, I guess maybe some people would be afraid to get it if they weren't expecting a package. No packages. The dude's pruning the bushes, but boy, you hear him 2 buildings away. The electric ones just like, and actually the chainsaws nowadays, if you got a modern one, they're pretty quiet. Right. Sorry. Well, the basic idea is, like I said, you just do you use the legal, or what the court has accepted as a legitimate deportation system, and you just beef it up so it works. And again, I don't recommend deporting the baristas and all that, or landscapers, construction people, unless they have, a legitimate criminal history, not just kind of a let's make something up thing. Right. Yeah, there could be prosecutions off of it in the future. I'm just telling you, why go through that mess? Well, it could be considered fraud at a certain stage of the game. But it doesn't make any sense. Right. So the idea is that you use a system that's there, that's approved, and you beef it up where they'll let you beef it up. Not making a deal with Maduro is insane. It really is. Like, you wouldn't run a business like that. You would do whatever you could to get Maduro to do what you want to do. Right. I agree. It's nice. It's gonna be the last minute mail delivery because I'm waiting for something important. Thank God for online deposits. Right. Do a pretty good job of shaping them. Probably would have had a perfect life if I was never in government, where the loonies work. I agree. I had a choice too. There was this guy that was a dog groomer, and he offered me a job. Now I don't know what he could have did for me. Maybe he would have brought me into his bigger dog breeding and everything. I told him I needed benefits for my family. We were the Greater Philadelphia Schützen Club, so he didn't want to lose me. So he offered me a job. He was wealthy. His wife had all the money, really, and most of it. She was she was one of the first people to start a temp nurse business. We had a Philadelphia cop in it. Had me. I remember what the one guy was just a jerk. Right. From wealthy family, he owned properties. I don't know what he did for a living. Maybe he just managed the properties. Thanks, Larry. Out in Jersey, mostly, I think. But he was like, what if I give you a job working for me? I guess we never got to discussing how much he'd pay me. I don't know. I just told him I needed benefits, and he, didn't say anything at that point. Like, because I had kids and a family. I shouldn't have been around. Shouldn't have know these people. Thanks, Larry, for what you did for us. Yeah, people hear from hell and they're whining. So I just can't forgive him. It's kind of like the Father Abraham thing. I don't have that capability. I can forgive you, and I forgave you, but I can't get you out of hell. Only God can do that. Right. And of course, God told me that I could. In other words, it would still be God, but God might say, you move the magic to get them out of. But I can't do it without God. Again, I was the percent of listening to God at that point. There's nobody that confused what they were doing and that it was illegal and all that. There's no confusion. It's just like every other criminal. It's in a mafia, sue me or arrest me. All right. Thank you, Larry. Now it probably all goes back to my cranial tissues tightening. I just couldn't figure it in a million years with them blocking and doing all that crazy stuff. Right. Yeah, I mean, they really trashed my life. I mean, I had no life, no friends. And again, now they're like pushing stuff. You're gonna die alone. We're gonna die alone. Like you have some girl, and she's going, look, I don't know how to talk to men. You guys don't know how to talk to women. We're gonna die alone. We got to do something. So again, they're playing a game. That's the kind of stuff they did to me before, but I didn't see it. So I'll jump out and try to, meet people and stuff like that. It's just not going to happen, right? And they may already have bait women out there in the church. Again, people take money for all sorts of things, right? While thinking that they're, working for God, right? Or I guess, deluding themselves. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 2%. Most people, when they talk about Jesus and God, they talk about Satan, but they call it God and they call it Jesus. Right. Well, there's a certain mechanism that, I found that I did it before I knew that it was in the scriptures. So Jesus and Paul, again, love the sinner, hate the sin. Right. So Jesus and Paul kind of did that. So you can go before Paul, and Paul wouldn't, the only thing Paul got on was bar Jesus, and that's, again, a false, kind of the false prophet idea, but a little bit further than that. Again, he's, you know, probably manipulative, possessing people. God bless you, Larry. Mm. So what they do is they do some real work, and then that's going to be, that why would God send me to hell? I've done all this, but again, right? They threw it all away, and I don't know if that ever was real, right? I'm waiting around for my next appointment. It's kind of a yucky day. Why are they saying they're sorry to me? I don't get it. Because you're forgiven. I just, I even just gave out the information that you could go straight to heaven, but obviously the scriptures speak of something else. Well, we're kind of in a bottleneck, I guess, with, that's why I'm saying don't waste our time and energy on things that are not expedient. Right? Well, I told you, I don't want everyday employees leaving the country when we needed them here to drop the inflation. It makes no sense. I agree. It's a game that's played. I mean, the employers are obviously bringing them here by their will to have cheap labor. Right. We agree, Larry. Well, you're using this rhetoric against the courts that's not going to go anywhere. Well, the only thing that's going to happen is if the courts get attacked additionally, they're going to put more people in to protect them. Right. At a certain point, the Supreme Court might hold somebody in contempt. I mean, let's wake up. Again, it's just like a waiting game for all of you to like fall on your face. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Correct, Larry. We agree, sir. I mean, to a certain degree, some of your statements could be considered 86, the judges. Right. We agree. Thanks, Larry. You got a point there. Well, what's happening is you're wasting time that could be used to build the system that works. We agree, sir. So if we focused on taking care of, well, I don't think you need to have the Democrats come along with some of it. Right. It appears that the military option is theoretically expensive. I don't know if I buy into the projected costs. Doesn't make sense to me unless we're getting ripped off on parts or something. I don't know. Maybe that's what you want to look into. Like, why does it cost so much to operate our stuff? Got a point there. Is the private sector getting parts for pennies on the dollar compared to the government? Is the government actually footing the bill for everybody else? Thank you, sir. What they do is they put me in shock, and that's why I couldn't get to any of it. They keep putting me in shock. Thank you, Larry. I agree, Larry. I agree. They're trying to disconnect a person's brain from their actions. Right. I mean, they're insane. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. Thank you, Larry. So again, a lot of times we're saying, well, Jesus can forgive you for that, but again, Jesus doesn't forgive certain things. Right? Well, he didn't come to save the righteous. You understand that? I mean, it's all there, actually. Yeah, sure. Again, and you say the holier than thou. Right. Being sorry doesn't mean you can stop something. Again, anybody that, even people that aren't religious, that know how the planet works, knows that's true. Right. Well, could that be true about you, the devil? Well, yeah, but if you have moved to cause others to make those mistakes, right, to fall, then I mean, where does God get to say you're forgiven? So, it begins to make more sense when you realize they're the ones that are actually causing the murders and the rapes. Okay. At least they know they're doing the ones that they're doing. But again, once it revealed is that metaphysically or physically, then they're most likely the biggest suspect on being it metaphysically. Again, they've operated me to fall. And they'll go, well, we did it because you said we did it. I said, well, it's BS. Thanks, Larry. Well, like I said, God can forgive everyone. I don't hold God to anything. Right? If God needs to forgive somebody, that's fine. God wants to forgive everybody, that's fine. It's all of you that want other people to go to hell. My gosh. See, it's always you always come up with some BS like, well, why would I do that? Like it's my fault that you did that. I mean, it's insane. Well, because that's their culture, man. I believe Rainier, I guess they call it MVXIM or whatever it is a experiment of some spycraft entity. Right. Eating snack. I'm going to make some pizza crust without cheese. See if I could come up with a healthier alternative. Well, my neck's releasing a little bit. It's just there's a lot to it. There's all the muscles have to restore. It takes time, especially at my age. That's pretty much what happened. All the cranial tissue in the neck tightened up, and I couldn't see to get it released. So let me turn these cameras off. Probably all sitting there hacking into it. Now they ruin your family, is what they do. They ruin your family's opinion of you and all sorts of stuff. Right. So your family becomes part of the thing. Right. So again, in the scriptures, they disconnected me from the LDS. I can feel it. I'm not sure how they did it. Right. I'm not sure, if the LDS, swore in with it. Right. The old amen. Right. So the other thing. Or I got in the middle of what I wanted to say. They're blocking this next information. It keeps disappearing. Thanks, Larry. All right. So the idea is if you can't wire in, then you can't take advantage of the society's increases. Right. So again, it's the idea of destroying God's systems. So I plugged in my ring cam again. Right, which I charged it to see if I could get to keep it, because it kept staying at like 86, 87%, but it looks like it's at 100%. I'm going to see if I can keep it there. Right. It's saying the allergies are way down. Darn it. Just getting crazy here. It won't let me look at the forecast for here. All right, so yesterday and tomorrow is going to be okay. Then it's going to increase. They're saying that's why a lot of Christians are shying away from social media, because they're doing that. They're trying to sexualize them. Thank you, Larry. I can check my other account and see if anything's going on there. Okay. So this is a different account. Not easy being cheesy. Yeah, they made sure that they would disable me. They're sick, right? I wasn't doing anything to anybody. They need to get out of here. Right. So, how was I doing that through videos? Yeah, but you were doing the other videos. So this is the other account. This is still the other account, right? So you could go to. Oh, you could broadcast on that one. You could broadcast on that one too. Right. That'd probably be a better one to broadcast on. So how can I? I'm trying to get to that spot where I saw the videos before from this account to see what it does. I think this is a different account. Well, maybe this is the same one. I say the Puffman bird is doing somersaults on command.
There she goes. There she goes. What? That was the best one. Right. Show it to me. Yeah, that's crazy, wait, bro. Did you pull it off? What I did is I went like this, and it went like that a little, and I was like, and then I walked over there and said I found it. I did.
What is that?
There she goes. There she goes. What? That was the best one. Right. Show it to me. Yeah, that's crazy, wait, bro. Did you pull it off?
Who's she saying that to? The Lady Gaga. Okay, now I got gay stuff, right? No, she's superimposed on that.
How do I go from this to this? Boobs included. Hello everyone and welcome to my updated makeup tutorial. But this is not
You know,
just
Vlad's
a
got to
makeup
be gay
tutorial.
with what's
It's
going
the most
on,
mansplained tutorial
right?
you'll see in your life. So I'll show you.
Vlad dresses like a woman, but says he's not gay.
Guys, I was taking out the trash.
There's too many people like willing him gay at this point. It's dangerous.
This is a doll.
Mammary gland, mommy, activated. Daddy.
Hey, see your driver's license.
I don't have one.
Why not? Okay, sorry, I just couldn't see your hands. I don't like it. I can't see people's hands.
I'm pregnant right now. I'm not supposed to be driving. I had to drop him off home.
Okay.
Yeah, I literally live
Wait, you're
right
pregnant? You're not supposed to be driving?
That's what I was told. You're not supposed to be driving if you're pregnant. That's what I was told.
I don't know if I've ever heard that before.
Really?
I've known a lot of pregnant people. All right. Well, I'm Deputy Slope. I work for the Pinal County Sheriff's Office Traffic Unit. Couple different reasons that I stopped you. First of all, my attention never would have been drawn to you if that muffler wasn't so loud and annoying.
Yeah, it's not my car. It's...
Literally, but you're driving it, so you're the captain of this ship, partner. So your muffler's loud and annoying, and it allows everyone. Is this your neighborhood?
Yeah,
Your neighbors hate you.
Right there.
They hate
it's
you.
not my car.
Okay. If you drive this in my neighborhood, I'd hate you. So that's number one, is you have a muffler that creates an unusual sound, which is the requirement for Arizona state law. Secondly, I don't know how you can see through your windshield because it's tinted top to bottom, left to right, so are your front and side windows. So all of that dark tint is all illegal. You can't have it. You can have tint just up at the top, but you can't have it everywhere. So, and why don't you have a license?
I'm 14.
You're 14. Okay, and ma'am, is this your car? Your fiance? Okay. So, then who is this to you?
He's my cousin.
Okay. So
because she lives at the apartment,
Yeah.
she told me she couldn't drive, so I was just coming to my house and she's getting.
I don't know. I just heard I'm not supposed to be driving when I'm pregnant. I wasn't sure. But
how old are you?
Me, I'm 18.
Okay.
I mean, I literally have the pregnancy test right here.
My house is a minute, like, shot.
So she wasn't driving because she's pregnant, but he doesn't have a license and he's 14.
Yeah.
Just shocked. 09. Wow, that's super young. You might be the youngest person, like, born most recently that I've ever pulled over. I've never pulled over someone from 09.
I mean, like, his mom is probably home. We can drive over.
He can't drive anywhere. He doesn't have a license.
Okay.
You did drive over there?
No. We're going to deal with the fact that he's illegally operating this motor vehicle. So we're not going anywhere. So you knew that he didn't have a license, right? Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. And do you have your registration paperwork, curb proof insurance? You don't have anything?
I mean, where did you put your stuff? I know it's, but where's the registration?
You're all right. Stay right in there. I'll be back. There's a lot of loss for words here. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a woman. I don't identify as a woman. I don't know. Females, is there a doctor out there that says, like, as soon as you get pregnant that you can't drive? Because maybe it's a thing. To my knowledge, Arizona law does not have a stipulation based on pregnancy of as soon as you're pregnant, you can no longer drive and have to have a unlicensed 14-year-old driver. Can you call mom, have mom come over here so I don't have to...
She's not home. I was at my cousin's apartment, and then I needed to come home, so she was like, oh, it's like a minute away. She lives at the apartment down the street.
Okay. What's your current address? I've addressed this before. I'm going to address it again. If you're in Arizona, you have never been issued a driver's license in any jurisdiction. Because you're 14 years old, the state of Arizona is going to take your car and they're going to put it in car jail for 20 days. Okay. So you're being cited with not having a valid driver's license, and the original reason, besides the muffler, because that really drew my attention, the second reason that really drew my attention to you was the improper material on your windows and windshield, right? Because your windshield looks like the inside of my eyelids. It's black. So that's it. There's a whole bunch of other things that I could cite you with, like having your super annoying muffler, not having your registration paperwork, not having current proof insurance for your vehicle, all of those things. So I could cite you with more, but I think this gets the point across that you shouldn't be driving. Okay? So the other thing I'm doing is I'm towing your car and I'm impounding it for 20 days. And I'm impounding it because Arizona law says if you've never had a driver's license, which you haven't, you can't drive unless it's an emergency situation, like you are on the way to the hospital and someone is actively bleeding out in your passenger seat. Except for that, and that isn't this, you can't drive. Just because someone says, hey, can you drive me? You need to say, no, I don't have a valid driver's license. Well, you can't just let someone who you know doesn't have a driver's license drive, especially when you're pregnant and you're worried, obviously, about the safety of your unborn fetus. So you're going to entrust the safety of you and your baby to a unlicensed 14-year-old. And therein lies the problem. Can't even see in there. You can open up the door too.
I didn't want to start the party.
No, that's okay. That is part. Look how dark that window is. All right, ma'am. You, being an adult, can't ask a minor to drive. So what you have is permitting an unauthorized minor to drive. Okay, this is a criminal offense. So you have to. All that means that you have to go and see the judge and explain what happened here to the judge.
How much is this going to cost, though?
You know what? I don't know because the sheriff's office doesn't deal with any money. The court will be able to tell you that because they deal with all that stuff. So that right there is all your stuff. So you guys can take any items of value, so anything that's worth anything out of the car. The car's going to stay here. I just need to make sure you leave the key here or key fob or whatever. whatever it is, and then you guys are free to go.
How am I gonna give it back to you?
I feel like you have a house that you could get into real close, right? So I would. Are you, yeah, obviously. Can you? Yeah, sure. I'll take that. Can you walk? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I wasn't sure if the driving thing was out of bounds. I wasn't sure if the walking thing was out of bounds.
Yeah. I got pepper spray right here. Is that okay if I grab it?
Yeah, absolutely. Grab it. You gotta stay safe.
Yeah.
Hi, citizen. No. I got a pretty good gauge for people. I'm pretty sure you're not gonna haul off with some pepper spray out of there and spray me in the face. Yes, ma'am.
For real.
That's me.
Not for real. Can we get a picture with you though?
Yeah, I love pictures.
Alright. Hold on. Get out. Come here. Come here. Oh my god. I swear. Hold on.
Man, you're big for 14.
Yeah.
Holy cow, you're like a linebacker. Good God, that thing's inside out, man. You might have to turn it around.
TikTok. Swear to God.
You know what's good? We're not on TikTok, man. The sheriff's office isn't on TikTok, so.
Alright.
But Facebook, yeah, you're gonna be on Facebook.
Oh, I got Facebook.
And YouTube.
And YouTube. Oh my God.
No, those are all people that pirate my stuff.
I think I see.
They're all pirates, all of them.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, jump in. Oh, those corduroy?
Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen corduroy pants in a minute. I like
Ready?
it. All right, you ready for this?
Alright. Oh my God.
All right. Hey, don't let her carry anything, man. She's prego. She got baby on board. I don't even have words today.
That was Sheriff Mark Lano, the Pinell County Sheriff. He's actually nice. All right. Judge probably let him off for something not too big. Trying to see.
Whoa.
That's what I mean by have a mechanic check your car out before y'all buy it.
Where's my bird? Have you seen Twinkie? Where's my bird? 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 Have you seen Twinkie? Where's my bird? Where's my bird? Where's
Some sort of cactus thing that repeats what you say. The AI stuff looks so fake.
What's matching your car is brilliant. The baby blue, you look so incredible.
Thank you so much.
And like you always match your car.
No, this is the time. I just got these Chanel boots, and I decided we were going to go with it today.
Wow.
Can I do that when you tag me? I would like to.
Ma'am, your boots matching your car is brilliant. The baby blue, you look so incredible.
Yes, I would like to have a large coffee.
Black?
Black. A large black coffee. Yes. Thank you. Honestly, like, I love her, but she's kind of the problem. No, and I hope. What are you guys doing?
Miss Augustine, where have you been? How are you doing? Look at all those feathers. Want to celebrate all those new feathers with some bacon pancakes?
So 3, 2, 1, we're gonna pull, nice and easy. Right, we're coming up. There's the 39. Right there. Now we can go forward. Nice and easy. And we're out. No problem. That's where we need that max power. Yeah. Right? And that feels good, right? You heard the turbo wind up. It was like, okay. And now we're back down to power. So 3, 2, 1, we're gonna pull. Nice and easy. Right? We're coming up. There's the 39.
Guys teach somebody to fly a helicopter.
Now we can go forward. Nice and easy.
Yeah, one of the weird things that when I find if something's delivered to me that's not mine, I usually take it to the person. So I'm not sure if they even had anything normal on it.
We let the camera get it.
On today's episode on what grinds my gears.
I'm just gonna scratch his.
I think this is the account. So it looks like the sexualized content has been minimized.
Like that.
Thanks, Larry.
This is the 20.
Play this.
Oh, I'm so I want to speak with. É assim, gente, meus.
That's pretty. That's pretty.
Thanks.
I love your outfit.
I fucked up the girl was fuck.
For those words. That's Vlad. He dresses like a woman, talks like a woman, and at a certain point, he talks like a man, dressed up like a woman. See if somebody hits on him, especially.
Okay, ignore how I look. I look terrible right.
That's my falafel.
Hey. I mean,
Oh.
But if you live in the middle of nowhere, in Mexico or the Philippines or Thailand and you're a good-looking woman or a young lady, you can make a lot of money on here. You don't even have to get like sexual or anything, right? You just got to reveal yourself a little bit.
You're burning the house down. Oh, well, you can do a good job of blowing.
I do. I'm a good blower.
Yeah.
Yeah, the turbo tours.
There's a
Looks like it's getting
150 acre
sexualized
getaway
again.
in Texas.
Right.
This is your man.
Yeah. It's time.
So, Mom,
Excuse me, Sharif. I appreciate you being cool with me. All right, so you've obviously met two other of my friends.
Yeah, being respectful, I've noticed a lot. People say hey, that, this, and that, but I've noticed every single time I've gotten stopped and I'm respectful, they respect me.
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely, and there's no lack of respect here, right? We're two gentlemen working through a problem, and what allows me to be somewhat cordial yet professional with you is the fact that you're cool. If you were a jerk, we'd be having a whole different conversation. The overwhelming vast majority of
This young lady right here. This young lady right here. Yes, come on up. Hello. What's up, dude?
Oh, I got to get going here soon. Yeah, the AI is getting a little bit crazy. I don't know if that was part of the scam. All right. Now, okay, so let's say I click on something that's got my entire my entire post is not supposed to do what it's doing. So don't try to say that's what it is. Right. First off, they showed up. It all showed up without anything bringing it there. Right. And then there's a certain pattern to it, like I explained. Thanks, Larry. It just keeps reducing in age until it's children. And again, they were skimpily dressed and they were, being, I believe, exploited. It's what they call it, beauty pageants or whatever. But right.
Venga, vecina, ¿cuánto por ese motor?
Just started to get sexualized.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It is my pleasure to announce that Chick-fil-A sauce is now at Costco. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because I'm online. Right. No, it's definitely not doing what it was doing. Thanks, Larry.
Your name is
No shit.
Coco.
That was a curse, actually. 13-foot sturgeon. Looks scary. No, what it is, it looks like the feed is going back to partially what it was before. Right. Thank you, Larry. Like your parents and all that. Right.
My favorite food is papaya slap. It's very yummy. Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain.
For those of
Actually, I gotta get rid of that. Fewer videos.
you who don't know, people are always like, "You're such a degenerate." Well, if that's true, how did I get Marvel? How do I have this Samurai X DM minifigure? People are always. This you a chicken. Yo, what's up, bro?